Hi, I'm Dr. Paul with a message for parents and parents-to-be around the world about a vital piece of information we need to know how to prevent autism in your children. The thing is, we actually do have some information that is showing a link between the MMR vaccine and autism. You say, how could that be? I thought it was proven not to be the case. Well, that study in 2004, published by the CDC, Dr. Thompson, one of the lead authors, chose to leave out some of the key information. And it turns out, through the Freedom of Information Act, Dr. Hooker was able to reanalyze the data with all the information and show that for African American boys, if the MMR was given after age 3, they had a 3.4 times less chance of autism. Folks, that's 340% less autism by waiting till age 3. Do you think that would be worth knowing? Why is it the CDC and these researchers chose to hide that information, and how could they get away with it anyway? Well, it turns out the patients who were excluded from that study didn't have a birth certificate. Well, that's a good reason to exclude the information. No, it's not. What they were doing was finding ways to remove the significance of what they had found, which was that there is a link between the MMR and autism. Now, okay, so we know that information and that should be good, right? What's even more disturbing, this article was just published this month in Translational Neurodegeneration, and already within 2 weeks, it's been removed. So I'm providing for you with a link at the bottom here, access to the entire article, because fortunately I was able to photocopy it before, for some unknown reason, it was removed from the literature. They're saying they don't agree with the conclusions. That journal published those conclusions, but apparently there's some pressure not to have this information out there. And that should infuriate every parent on earth. This is censorship at its worst. You know, scientific information should just be that. Lay it out there. It's not always going to find the same facts. You're not always going to have the same conclusions, but don't pull it from the world literature. We're going back to what happened to Andrew Wakefield and his study that showed MMR linked to autism. They actually found the MMR virus in the lymph nodes of the gut of these autistic children. His facts and his findings have been reproduced, and that was never questioned, and yet his article was ultimately removed from the world literature. Astounding to me. Let's study this and find out the real truth. So as long as we're going to have some force out there that's getting facts hidden, folks, we're not going to get to the bottom of this answer. I can assure you from personal practice experience with a very large practice, I have over 1,000 children who are age 3, none of whom have become autistic. This is because these parents have chosen to wait till age 3 to give the MMR. Coincidence that coincides with the publication this month showing that that's the right thing to do. So parents, if you've got a brain and the ability to think for yourselves, don't trust your doctor to do this research for you because they're misinformed. The information is flushed. It's just hidden under the carpet, and you're not going to get the truth unless you really dig. You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. If you vaccinate the way we're vaccinating in the United States, you will get the results of what we're getting in the United States, which is autism now 1 in 50. There are countries around the world where the autism rate is much less, 1 in 1,000 in Norway in a recent study. And I am convinced beyond a doubt that it's not just the MMR, and it's toxins, 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 and for a subset of kids, that live virus, the MMR, is what tips them over. We know from studies by Dr. Vargas that brain inflammation is a key fact for autistic kids. Measles causes encephalitis. That's a live virus vaccine. There's an explanation for why we're seeing what we're seeing. It's all about timing, folks. If you take a poison or if you take a hit to your immune system at a very young age, the result is quite different than if you take that hit at a later age once your neural network is all formed, your language is established. So I think it's time, folks, to let the research speak for itself. Bring this article back. Let's do more studies. I propose ongoing studies that compare different vaccine schedules to non-vaccinated kids, and let's get the information we need rather than the moratorium on research put out by the Institute of Medicine that actually quoted this article with its manipulated and distorted data as reasons why we shouldn't do any more research. It's time for the truth. I hope you'll share this information, and let's save our kids, because they can't speak for themselves when they're 1, 2, and 3 years of age. We, the parents, must decide how do we protect them so they don't end up autistic unnecessarily. So a little bit of self-edification. I'm a board-certified pediatrician. I'm board-certified in integrative holistic medicine. I have been the prior director of pediatrics at St. Vincent's Hospital, a prior and intermittent professor, clinical professor at Oregon Health Science University. More than anything, I'm a dad who cares ferociously about this topic of autism. This does not need to be. Autism is not present in our primate cousins, if you will. It is something we've created. It's what you call iatrogenic. We're doing something that's causing autism, and we need to stop doing what that is. So it starts in the womb. Minimize your toxins. Do not give a vaccine that has a whole boatload of aluminum like the Tdap while you're pregnant. That newborn, if mom, you don't have Hep B, do not give the hepatitis B vaccine to your brand new baby with 250 micrograms of aluminum. And then when you get to this decision about the MMR, the evidence based on hundreds of parents who've shared with me a regression into autism after age 1 after getting the MMR. Yes, it hasn't been proven, but I've just showed you a study that shows, maybe there is a link. Maybe there's something to what Dr. Andy Wakefield was saying after all. Thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Paul.